Hi, my name is Christine, and welcome to this restorative yoga practice. So, first of all, what is restorative? Restorative is kind of in the name. It's where we restore. We rest and restore ourselves by taking really supported postures with lots of props that don't involve much flexibility, that definitely don't involve any strength, and we allow the body to soften and to rest. And in doing that, we are actually switching ourselves from, I always have to check my notes, the sympathetic nervous system, which is the one that is stress and response. That's the nervous system that's active during the day when we're active, and of course when we have any type of stimulus that is causing us to need to move, need to react, and we're moving into the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the one that is all about resting and restoring and digesting. That's the one we go into when we sleep at night. Beautiful thing about restorative yoga is that we can get just as much rest and feel just as energized as we could from an entire night of sleep in a shorter amount of time. So 3 yoga postures today. You're also going to need a couple of pillows, okay? And we're going to start in child's pose. So I'm just going to move these props out of the way. All I want for this one is my bolster, and it's possible that you are going to find that you need a pillow as well. So a pillow would be helpful for you if sitting directly on your heels like this creates strain in your knees, is too tight for your thighs. Go ahead and prop your bum up a little bit. Okay, so that would be for that part of things. And then we have the bolster here so that we're not going all the way to the ground. We want this to be super cozy. So you can go ahead and come down and lie down on your bolster and turn your head to one side and let your arms just rest beside and close your eyes. And take a few nice deep breaths right here into the back of your body. So resting in this intentional way, that's what's strategic, because I know that we often think that we're resting. I know I used to think that I was resting if I was watching TV or reading a book. And there is a certain amount of rest with that, of course, because it's leisure. But there's still a stimulus happening to the mind when we're entertaining ourselves in some way. Whereas coming into a resting position for the body and not providing any extra stimulus to the mind, we actually give the body that opportunity to really slip into that rest and restore state of being, which is deeply healing. It helps to boost our immune systems and energizes us and fills the cup right back up again. I always know when someone really, really needs some restorative yoga when they come into a pose like this, and I can see them fidgeting a lot, and I can see that they're having a hard time sitting still. That's because that nervous system is still on hyper alert. And it's going to take some practice for a person like that. And if it's you, reminder, it'll take a little practice to get comfortable with the idea of kind of essentially doing nothing for just a few minutes. So since your head is turned to one side, I'm going to ask you to turn it the other way now, just so that we don't strain your neck. Keep things balanced in the neck. Keep breathing some nice long full breaths, but easefully. There's no strain here. There's no excessive effort. Just resting. Allowing your heart rate to settle. Allowing your body to get a little heavier. Releasing any residual tension. And restorative yoga can be a bit like taking a cat nap. You know, when you're really tired and you just close your eyes for 5 minutes and it helps. You feel better afterwards. It's the same idea. We can walk away from
restorative yoga practice, feeling just as rejuvenated as we had after a full night's sleep. In fact, sometimes more so if you struggle with sleep. And part of that's because we slip into that space between being completely awake and completely asleep. We're somewhere between the two. Take a nice deep breath in. And on the exhale, just let go. Inhale deeply through your nose. And exhale completely out of the mouth. On this last breath, let out an audible sigh. Make a little noise. And slowly, moving very mindfully, start to rise up and away from your bolster. You can come forward onto your hands and knees. And just to bring some circulation back into those knees, go ahead and extend one leg back, toes tucked, and just rock back and forth on the toes. And you can do the same on the other leg. And just to help us reset the spine, a couple of cat-cows on your hands and knees. Just inhale, lifting head, lifting bum up. And exhaling to round it out, pushing the floor away. Do it twice more. Good. You need to bring your bum down and swing your legs around, and we'll prepare for our next posture. For this one, we are going to need 2 pillows, 2 blocks, and a bolster. So let's start by setting up the bolster behind us. I like to use a couple of blocks here at different heights so that when I lean my bolster against it, you'll see here now my bolster is on an angle, lifted a little bit away from the ground. I'm going to sit in front of it about a fist distance away from the bolster. Soles of the feet together, but I'm going to prop up my knees so that there's no strain on the inner thighs. All right, so we're not here so much for the stretching as we are for the energetic opportunity for the body to flow and heal. Right, so once you're here, you can go ahead and rest yourself back and down on your props. And let your arms open out to the sides, palms are open. You might need to pick up your bum and tuck your tailbone a little bit just to get a bit more space for your lower back. And I always suggest that if you need to fidget, please go ahead and get as comfortable as you can at the beginning of the pose, because I want you to feel that you can then settle into it and find a place of stillness for a few minutes. Now you can take some nice deep breaths into the front of the heart, into the chest.
even doing just one restorative posture, allowing your body to just soak up how joyful it is to be in such a supported place for 5, 10 minutes can make such a big difference on how we feel. And of course, when you have time for a full practice, even better. Just be sure to prioritize resting and restoring in this way as much as you prioritize your other forms of yoga, the other practices of movement and strengthening and stretching. Depending on how you're doing, if you're going through a period of high levels of stress, you might want to do more restorative yoga. Or if you are just maintaining your health, giving yourself active moments of rest regularly, once a week is a good cadence for restorative. You can always put on some soothing music, light a candle, get an eye pillow, and block out the light. Whatever helps you to really rest. Deep breath in. Release. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out of the mouth. One more time. Big breath in, this time audible sigh. And start by using your hands to gently close those legs, bringing the knees back up. And then with the support of your hands, just lifting your head first so your neck is supported, and then pressing up. And open your feet as wide as your sticky mat. Knees are still bent up. Wrap your arms around your knees. You can hold one wrist, drop your head. Try to keep your eyes closed through these transitions and take a moment here. And slowly lift your head and open your eyes. Prepare for our next posture. So for the next one, you might want to have a pillow nearby for your head. We're going to be doing legs up the wall pose. So hopefully you have a little wall space that you can go scooch up against right now. And if you don't, know that you can do a similar version of this by just hooking your legs like up and over the side of your sofa, your bed, a chair. Equally beneficial posture, right? So you can find what works for you with that. We are going to set up
our bolster right near the wall. So not glued right up to the side of the wall. You can give it maybe 4 to 6 inches, just a little bit of space between the wall and the bolster. I'm just going to move these other props out of the way for now. And I'm going to use a yoga strap for this one. I find it easier to really relax into this posture if I basically tie my legs up together, right? So I'm going to go ahead and put my legs, thighs in the strap and make a nice tight loop here. You'll see what I mean in a moment when we get into this one if you haven't done this pose before, right? It can be a little bit funny to get into if you're not used to it, but I'm going to show you a way to do that. I'm going to keep my pillow nearby so that if I want it for my head, I can grab it. So what I like to do is kind of sit down beside the wall, beside the bolster, right? And so this way, as I come down and put my back on the ground, I can also pick my hips up and get my hips up on the bolster. Scooch, there we go. And now the legs are up the wall. Right, so by having tied the legs together, I can actually relax my leg muscles and not worry about the legs kind of wanting to splay apart on the wall. Right, I'm not right up against the wall, so I'm not trying to activate a hamstring stretch in this one. Hopefully your legs feel pretty relaxed, and the upper back, the shoulders are relaxing on the ground. You can open up your arms to the side. Now, you might be more comfortable getting a pillow under your head. For some, that's a more comfortable place to be. For others, it's actually really soothing to have the head directly on the ground. So really what works for you. And your arms can come by your sides, palms up, just like in a Shavasana-like position. And close your eyes. So the pelvis is lifted up on your bolster. It's not like in the small of your back. It's a little bit lower down around your sacrum. And this just helps us feel that the pelvis and the legs, the weight of all of that can actually sink down and into this bolster and feel nicely supported there. You can do this without lifting your hips at all. You don't have to have something under your hips. You could just come up to the wall and put your legs up, and that would be beautiful too. You could always stay in this posture for a very long time if you find it comfortable. I will just recommend that if you do, that you do have some socks on, or you can drape a blanket over your legs, over your feet, because with the feet elevated like this, the blood and the lymphatic fluid does flow down the legs, which is part of why it's so therapeutic. And it does tend to mean that our feet get cold. So just be prepared for that if you're going to be here for a while. Today we're just going to be here for about 4 or 5 minutes, so we should be okay. Close your eyes and see if you can relax just 5% more. This posture is extremely therapeutic, both physiologically and anatomically. This is a great posture to do if you've been on your feet all day. You've had a long day. Doing this at the end of the day before you go to bed, this helps put things right again. You may feel a little tingling in your palms, a sense of receptivity there. Allow your face, your eyes, and your jaw to get a little softer. Take a nice deep breath in. Release. Inhale through your nose, out the mouth. Now with a nice big sigh. Rock your head side to side, wiggle your fingers and your toes. And bend your knees and place the soles of your feet on the wall. If you have a strap there, you can take a moment now just to untangle yourself from that. Good. And you can roll over onto your left side into a fetal-like position, sort of rolling right off your bolster, resting your head on your arm. Just take a moment here in this transition. And pressing into your hands, start to come up to sitting. Maybe sitting on your bolster now for a little bit of elevation in your hips. Taking your hands to prayer at your heart. Pressing your thumbs against your sternum, letting your fingers fan out from that place. Heart lifts to the palms, to the hands, and the head gently bows to the fingers. Feel your heart beating in your chest and your breath upon your fingertips. And take a moment of gratitude for having taken some time well spent today, strategically resting and restoring your body. If you enjoyed today's practice and would like to receive monthly yoga practices like this one right into your inbox, please head over to christine-gannett.com and join my inner circle. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.